Jeans. Now, you may think of that comfy denim stuff that you get to wear sometimes on Fridays at school, but no, that's not what we're talking about. Jeans with a G. No, for those of you who are still confused, these are not the pants. Sorry. So these can be found in DNA and are always found in DNA. And so they essentially have a start and an end sequence in the DNA, and the gene is everything in between. It's the fragment, essentially. And so the certain combination of nucleotides creates the expression in there. And so codons are essentially just their own little codes which say a certain program like start and stop. Ones and zeros or not, it's still a code, yes. And so essentially these can be read when transferred into RNA as they go into ribosomes with their start and stop. And once it reaches the point of start, it starts to begin forming materials until it hits a stop. And then those materials bond to form a protein, and that protein will be sent off elsewhere into the cell. And now this has also been used in cloning as of recent years, or 20 years ago if you want to think of that of recent in science. But they created two of a sheep named Dolly. And now I know what you're thinking, matter doesn't work like that. Well, this is biology, and cloning cells does work in that sense. So there are these little things called plasmids, and you can take a certain sequence of DNA, and the plasmid will open every so often, being able to accept a certain DNA sequence. And so when the plasmid is inside of a cell, it releases the DNA once it opens again, and the DNA eventually finds its way to the rest of the DNA in the cell and begins to start making its own proteins and such by connecting to ribosomes and creating more RNA. And now these cells will begin to clone themselves until they eventually form into an organism, say a sheep, like Dolly. And so genes essentially have our traits, and our traits are in the DNA. And they have a start and stop codon, and they always know when to do so. But these things aren't perfect, as they can sometimes have mutations which can lead to cancers, but that's something that will be covered in a later video.